Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space where we set oppression ablaze because we better than oppression. It's time for oppression to die, yes. And I think we're the ones to do it. We're the generation that is here, as Bob Marley has said. This generation right here will be the one to win that war. And I'm so very happy, glad, excited, appreciative that you all have made some time to hang out with me on this good 1st of November. The year has flown by. It's going to be 2023 before we know it. But until then, we are stuck in this raggedy hole of 2022. So here we are, and here we shall be. And I'm glad that we are here in this moment together. Listen, come on in, everybody. Make yourself comfortable. We're still social distancing in here because if you didn't know, we've got a little bit of some outbreaks happening across the country. People are trying to wonder why they have had this persistent sinus infection or why can't they shake this flu. Nigga, you got fucking COVID. Okay, let's not be dense and obtuse here. The COVID is still out here jumping on people, and because it is, and because we are considerate of our folks, whether or not we are aware of their health situation or not, we are still masking indoors. KN95s are better. Please and thank you. So, anywho, big up to everyone that is making their way into the chat tonight. What's going on, Tyler, my son? What's up, Halle? What's going on, Court? Hey, what's going on, Alice? Where you been? Alice been busy. We glad to see you in the live spot tonight, baby girl, baby non-binary. My bad. What's up, Wendy? And David Selberg has made an appearance. Oh shit. The big pun is in the house. So anyway, y'all come on in here, give the video a thumbs up. We chilling and shit. Got a good show for y'all today. I saw the news that broke Friday, and it even broke before my showtime, and I just didn't mention it because even though I had my suspicions about who was behind the shit, I wanted to let a little bit more details come out. And yep, who was behind it was exactly who I thought was behind it. If you didn't know, I'm sure, how could you not at this point? House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had her husband attacked. Well, wait. I don't know if she had him attacked, but maybe she did. Maybe he pissed her off. She said, "Ooh, I got a good lackey. I can, I can shove this off on." No, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked inside of their home in the Bay Area, San Francisco, by a white man. I knew he was white. One of my friends tried to hit me before his picture came out. It was like, yeah, I heard it was a black homeless guy. I said, I said, nope. I said, nope. Where's Nancy? You think a black homeless guy is gonna break in somebody's house and ask, where's Nancy? He gonna ask, where is food? Where's the shit that I can convert quickly into some money that will equate into some shelter? Like I knew it wasn't black people behind that. So anyway, so the mainstream media and the political leaders are in such a dither and a tizzy over this political attack. Meanwhile, meanwhile, non-white communities, non-women, non-straight people have been enduring political violent attacks since 1492 and likely before, but on this continent for a very, very long time. Inside of this rotten ass colony for a very, very, very long time. I don't have a lot of empathy nor sympathy to spare. So we're going to look at some of the ways and the people who have been the subject of political violence. We're going to touch on a couple of cases of black people who have been exonerated recently from long jail terms and the ways in which, there is not the reciprocal, hey, the people who put these innocent folks in jail are terrible. How come? It's just interesting to me the ways the media fails to name and shame bad prosecutors, bad cops, bad district attorneys who imprison, I don't care if they're living or dead, who put innocent people behind bars. And all we get from the media is this quote unquote feel good story of this person who has spent 30, 40, 50 years behind bars, but never the people who put them there are never held into account. They are barely even named. So I want us to get into that. I have a couple things I want to get into. let me just get into the fucking show. Let's start off this bitch with something good. It's not good news per se, but it was a good video clip that caught my attention. I said, "Oh, I like this." I said, I bet you the Fire fan would like this as well." So here we are in the middle of midterm election season. I don't know which way this bitch is gonna go. I can't do the horse race politics at this point. I don't really care because I see all the shit that has been eroded under Democratic leadership at the federal level, and I'm like, doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter at this point who is in charge. I mean, it does, but at the same time, it doesn't. But because some of these races nationwide are very close between ridiculous ass Republicans like Herschel Walker and Mehmet Oz and Carrie Lake, it's wild that the Democrats are doing so badly at beating up these simpletons. It's just like, how can y'all not defeat the simpletons? Are your policies that bad? Is your platform that terrible? Is your messaging just so incompetent? How is it that Herschel Walker is giving Raphael Warnock some guff? How is it that Mehmet Oz is giving this other one, Fetterman, some guff? Anyway, I know how. But anyway, they have, of course, trotted out Barack Obama, who came out and told everybody to pull their pants up and you got to hurry up and vote. You got to get off TikTok and vote. I said, this nigga is on his same shit. Obama gonna come with those same lines every 2 years. Ain't this a bitch? But I believe this was in Michigan. I hope this is a actual factual clip. I would hate to think that I would put something up that was contrived, but maybe you guys can verify to me, because I was having some trouble trying to actually verify, was this an actual real clip? Part of me says yes, but in case I have been fooled, I encourage you all to please correct me. But I deduced that this clip was in Michigan. And Obama, I believe, was stumping in Michigan for whoever the fuck the Democrat Michigan nigga is, whatever. And this is what the crowd greeted him with: heckles and a chant. Let's check it out.
But this is what I mean. This is what I mean. I mean, we're having a conversation. Hold on a minute. Listen, everybody. Hey, y'all up there, pay attention. Here's what happened. Listen. But this is what I mean. This is what I mean. I mean, we're having a conversation. Hold on a minute.
Now, I have to say, to be in the interest of fairness, these motherfuckers is good with the edits, and I see somebody in the chat saying that they heard this was edited. I really could not tell if this was a real clip or not. So if you cannot discern what the chant is, alleged chant, it's saying "fuck Joe Biden," and I said, "Oh man, how come I couldn't be at that rally?" But I do not know whether or not that was faked or not. But assuming for a moment that it was not faked, the Democrats have a big problem on their hand coming up these midterm elections. And there's that. So let's move along. Speaking of midterm elections, I have been talking to you all, and I see who's in the chat. Courtney, you talking about Takeoff? I'm going to talk about Takeoff towards the end of the show. I didn't forget. I didn't forget. And I do want to mention what happened to Takeoff from Migos. He was tragically murdered last night in Houston. And I do wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that, but I was going to say that for the end of the show. So I got it coming up. But thank you all for making sure that I am reminded. But like I said, here we are in the midterm election season, and I don't really have a lot to say about these races. They are what they are. The Democrats are who they are. The Republicans / Nazis, they are who they are. America descends further into fascism. Me personally, I am powerless to stop it. Okay, the slide is sliding, and it's on a banana peel right now. So there's that. But I can only offer some commentary from my little corner of the world. And here in my little corner of the world, I've mentioned to you guys on a number of occasions that we are in the middle of a governor's race. And I am displeased again with the offerings for Maryland governor. And I wanted to play y'all a couple of ads because I've been telling y'all that the Democratic nominee, Wes Moore, there's something about him, and I don't know what it is, and I can't put my finger on it. Well, I can put actually 2 or 3 fingers on it because the people that this man is being backed by, knowing what we know at our advanced big ages now, it should give us a little bit of pause, right? Anybody backed by Obama or backed by Oprah, um, and I hate that it is those two, but it is. They have not proven themselves to be reliable figures who are advancing the widespread interest of black people as a whole. They advance black bougie interest, and that's their thing, and that's cool. That's not cool, and that's definitely not cool. But Wes Moore, backed by Oprah and Obama. How? I don't know how. But I want to play you guys his campaign ads. And I want you guys to understand why I have paused. Let's take a look at the first one.
You're about to elect a new governor, and the choice couldn't be clearer. My friend Wes Moore is the leader Maryland needs. Now, at a time when so much of our politics is about tearing people down, Wes Moore is working to bring people together and lift them up. He wants to build an economy that works for everyone and schools that are second to none. Because Wes knows that Maryland is strongest when no one is left behind. But he only wins if you vote. Let's do this, Maryland.
Hey, Maryland voters, did I announce here on this platform that I'm actually mounting a write-in campaign for governor? Yep, that's me. I'm going to give you your third. Actually, there is a third party candidate, but let me be your fourth party candidate, non-affiliated party candidate. Please write in Kim Brown when you go in and cast your ballot for governor because, A, I can't do no worse than the mother clowns. You know what I'm saying? There's some things I'm going to make sure it gets done on day one. You best believe that. Every school in Baltimore City will get new HVAC day one, week one. Ain't no pushing the papers around for 6 months, a year, 5 years. Nope. There's certain shit we getting done on day one. Is Wes Moore getting the new HVACs, putting in Baltimore City schools on day one? No, he isn't. Vote for Kim Brown. I am your governor of Maryland. So there's that. Now let's play the other one that also, so you see why I have a little bit of pause. Because who ain't going to say in their campaign ads, we're going to build an economy that works for everybody. We're going to put education first. Everyone fucking says that. Everybody. What is the special? What's the different? What you doing different, man? Anyway, campaign ad number 2. Let's take a look.
So I served with Wes Moore in Afghanistan. When you're in a combat zone with someone, you really get to see who they are and what they're made of. And with Wes, you got to remember, this is a man who was a Rhodes Scholar. He could have been doing anything, but he volunteered to put his life on the line for our country. To me, that says all you need to know. Wes is a natural leader. That's how we all felt about him, and I know he'll make a great governor.
Where are my red flags? I would like to wave them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Afghanistan was a losing excursion, my guy. Like, didn't shit good come out of Afghanistan? Did you know what happened in Afghanistan? Did anybody inform these individuals what America's seemingly final chapter was in Afghanistan? It was defeat. it was embarrassment, as Kalechi Okafor would say. It was big embarrassment and a tearing apart of a nation, spending trillions of dollars literally to try to get one. I don't need to go over the folly of the Afghanistan military excursion committed by the United States military. To me, that ain't some shit you brag about. You should have bragged about something else, some sort of humanitarian mission. Like, why? And yes, and the gentleman brings up a wonderful question. If this man indeed is a Rhodes Scholar, what the fuck was he doing signing up for the military? Does that sound like a smart intelligent move that a Rhodes Scholar would make? No, that sounds like somebody who wants to participate in American military misadventures and set themselves up on a political track to say that I served in the military, so that gives me some sort of patriotic credibility. No, it doesn't. To some, it might, but to me, no. You military veteran, red flag. The potential of operative level elevated for that. And given again the political powers that he's backed by, I just have big questions. And again, I've said it here and I've said it other places. Just mark my words. 2024, Wes Moore is going to get drafted onto that new Democratic presidential ticket because Biden probably don't have enough gas in the tank to go another campaign season plus a whole nother term. Kamala is deeply unpopular. She does not have the mettle to stand on her own and carry the ticket herself. So they would probably have a nice, shiny, clean shaven military veteran Rhodes Scholar Negro giving you huge Obama vibes to be I guess the VP on the ticket. I can't see them running him as president, but I'm sure president is definitely on his to-do list. Ugh. So anyway, so I'm very kind of despondent about just the state of politics now, right? Even in a firmly blue state as my own, your options are very limited, right? You get bourgeoisie, class aspirationalist, and the Republican candidate is a Trump-backed nut job. So does that. So Westmore is going to be it. That is, unless, of course, the voters of Maryland decide to take a decisive stand and write in Kim Brown for governor. Will wants me to remind you all that when you write my name in on the ballot, because I will be writing in my own name, please be sure to include the link tree, the link tree link tree / BIDWKB. And by the way, I failed to inform my mother of my writing campaign. So my mother has already early voted, and my mama didn't even vote for me. My campaign's not off to a great start. But I will not be felled by bitch-assery. Not my mother, by the way. I would never call my mother no bitch ass. I'm just talking about bitch-assery in general out here. So that's Westmore. So I wanted to bring it live in color to you why I clearly have pause about who is definitely going to be the next governor of Maryland. And I don't even know if he's even been president of the city council or the student council for that matter. City council, student council. I don't think he's held either office. I digress. So I want to move along here because, there's a couple things that I'm kind of taking away from this story about Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's husband, who was attacked in their home on Friday. And the tenor of the reaction, the breathlessness from the mainstream media and from political folks themselves is just very kind of tone deaf. And the media clearly doesn't hear itself, right? So I want to play a clip. So I watch Meet the Press every Sunday because I clearly, clearly, I love to have at least a guaranteed hour of frustration in my week, right? Why else would I watch Meet the Press? And I was watching Chuck Todd give an interview with Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, cop, right? She's a former prosecutor, cop. Amy Klobuchar is the police. And the conversation went to the issue of social media and specifically about Elon Musk buying Twitter. Now, Elon Musk buying Twitter is an interesting thing because Elon claims he's going to restore free speech back to the platform. So I read that as allowing racists, white supremacists, trolls to basically come back to the platform. Not that they ever left, but there was a mass purging of Twitter a while back. And I know even some people, some radical leftists, mainly black folks, did get caught up in that sweep, and they had their accounts deleted. Some had theirs restored, some didn't. But Twitter made it a pre-Elon Musk, that is. Twitter, I guess, made a half-hearted attempt to clean up its content, or at least clean up the kind of things or the kind of speech that it will allow on the platform. So Musk has declared that he will allow free speech to reign, and he's even made the point that he intends to allow Donald Trump to reclaim his Twitter page. I mean, why not Kanye at this point? Let's just let everybody come on back. Everybody, let all the hate speech fly. Just let it all ride. What could happen? What could be the worst that could happen? Well, you could have a situation like what happened with Paul Pelosi. And but when I think about even the origins, I mean, not the historical, deep-seated, systemic origins of the current political climate, because in some form or fashion, this has always been this way, right? Political violence is exactly that, political violence. When they were trying to bomb freedom riders going down south to register people to vote, that's political violence. Bombing churches where civil rights activities were held, or even not were held, that's political violence. Like, the political violence has existed in this country again since day. But it has not always been targeted towards the elites. And that is where we see the shift in the coverage and the conversation. Now, political violence is a problem. My God, they went to Nancy Pelosi's house. Didn't we just talk about the town in Florida, Ocoee, Florida, where they burned the town down because a couple black people showed up with the audacity to want to vote? Isn't that not political violence? So anyway, but when it comes to the rich, privileged, specifically white political class, oh, now it's a big problem. Now it's a big problem. So I want us to pick up this clip from Meet the Press, Amy Klobuchar, and she's responding to the question she's asked about Elon Musk buying Twitter, and what are her thoughts about what the climate of Twitter will be under Musk's ownership. Let's take a look.
Elon Musk has said now that he's going to start a content moderation board. That was one good sign, but I continue to be concerned about that. I just don't think people should be making money off of passing on this stuff that's a bunch of lies. You couldn't do that on your network.
Nope.
Chuck.
Nope.
You couldn't.
We have real rules.
You guys
That's
look
right.
at commercials
That's
and
right.
you decide if they are false or not. That is not a requirement of these companies, and we have to change the requirements on these companies. They are making money off of us. They are making money off of this violence.
Well, I might ask you to run that back, to be perfectly honest, because do you see the disillusionment, the denial, the lack of self-awareness, the total oblivion to what mainstream American media does, who it does it to, and the shit that it enables? Okay? I guarantee, and this is not even speculative or whatever, Donald Trump made appearances on Meet the Press prior to becoming a candidate for president numerous times, right? He also made appearances on MSNBC and all the related NBC News networks, in addition, not only NBC News, but also CNN. Like, everybody put Trump on. It wasn't just Fox, right? It wasn't just Fox News. And Trump, specifically on the issue about Obama's birth certificate, and I don't give a fuck about Obama's birth certificate, but at the end of the day, Donald Trump's accusations about Obama not being born in Hawaii never bore fruit, right? And this is despite networks like MSNBC and CNN stopping their whole entire programming to go to a Trump press conference, again, prior to him formally entering the political fray. They enabled Donald Trump's lies, the very hatchlings of them, when they were in the little egg and they started to come out. MSNBC, and at the time, I think it was Tim Russert, and CNN and the others put a mic in his face and let him go the fuck off, right? Saying whatever the fuck with very little pushback. And even if there was pushback, it wasn't enough for them to be dissuaded upon having Trump back on their platforms, because Trump equals money, Trump equals ratings. What'd you say there, Amy Klobuchar? Oh, these platforms shouldn't be making money off pushing lies. Well, NBC News made a shit ton of money, as did CNN, as did MSNBC, amplifying Trump's hateful, racist rhetoric because it made money. because it made money. Same thing with these newspapers, same thing with these late night talk show hosts. Trump was a moneymaker, okay? And for Chuck Todd specifically, or any journalist, any mainstream journalist to not acknowledge their role, their complicity in the elevation of Trump, ergo the climate of politics that we have now, to me is just laughable. It's just laughable. And that's why I'm hoping everybody will remind them to correct the record. Like, nah, motherfucker, y'all pushed a lot of goddamn lies. And that's not even, I mean, I'm talking about specifically about Trump. We could take this in a variety of different directions. We could talk about the run up to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. We could talk about the crack epidemic and the war on drugs and all of this misinformation and disinformation that has been pushed by mainstream American outlets forever. Definitely my whole lifetime and forever, basically forever. And that's all they do. That's all they do. Hold on, we gotta run that back because I think I might chuckle at this point. Run that back, Will. Run that back so I can get a nice little laugh, laughing and
Elon
laugh.
Musk has said now that he's going to start a content moderation board. That was one good sign, but I continue to be concerned about that. I just don't think people should be making money off of passing on this stuff that's a bunch of lies. You couldn't do that on your network.
Nope.
Chuck. You guys look at commercials and you decide if they are false or not. That is not a requirement of these companies, and we have to change the requirements on these companies. They are making money off of us. They are making money off of this violence.
My guy said we have rules. That's enough. That's enough. My guy said we have rules. Nigga, you don't have no fucking rules, okay? You don't have no goddamn rules. Your rules are to uphold American imperialism, white supremacy, and the patriarchy, my G. That's the rules. Them's the rules. And capitalism, my bad. And to uphold capitalism. Those are the only fucking rules that American mainstream outlets adhere to. And to hear Chuck Todd say we have rules. No, that, and Amy Klobuchar dumbass feeding into it. And that could never run on your network, Chuck. And Chuck like, yep, we got rules. If the both of y'all don't sit down and shut the fuck up because y'all sound like some goddamn dummies. Ooh, shit. My bad. Ooh, okay, and now I'm feeling a little better. Let's keep this rolling. So there's that, right? So it's all this upsettedness behind the political violence now being felt at somewhat of the highest levels. And I see the people talking about, oh, this is, how come it's not being framed as an assassination attempt against the speaker's husband? Blah, 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 blah. Hey, I don't think there's any reason that you cannot frame it that way. It certainly is that. I think that's not an inaccurate characterization. But all of the black folks that have been targeted and murdered by police, they were also assassinated for political reasons because blackness is less than in America, stratified in our politics, in our laws, and our norms and our mores. We. The other thing I wanted to say, hold on. Where am I at here? Oh. So that's where I was going. So let me take a little detour. We're going to come back to the political violence in uno momento. But I wanted to make an acknowledgement because we just saw Chuck Todd there be very, I can't even call it deliberately obtuse. I'm sure he really believes that. I'm sure Chuck Todd does believe that his network does adhere to the rules. But within that, you see the limitations of, his cis hetero white male, straight white male perspective. Like, of course, from his perspective, he would fucking think that, right? But for the rest of us, we're like, nah, dog. We see the biases, we see the slants and all that. And just to be clear, from this platform, from this channel, I absolutely do have my biases, but I, unlike them, try to put them out there. Like I'm not sitting here. I'm not feigning objectivity with y'all. Y'all know who I center on this platform. I center black women first and foremostly, women after that, gay black people. I mean, but it's black women first, okay? Then everybody else kind of shakes in. You get in where you fit in. So no, I do not pretend to be objective, but I also am not claiming objectivity here. I'm not doing that. So anyway, hold on. What the fuck? Oh, you bitch. The thing I was trying to find, of course, it is not here, but I wanted to point something out because where we heard the obtuseness there from Chuck Todd, the self awareness that I want to give credit to one media outlet in particular. It's the Oregonian, the paper of note out there in Oregon. Franny French, all of our Oregon people, who else is out there? Black Magic is out there. Correct me if I got this all wrong. But the Oregonian kind of did something pretty cool. And for some reason, I am not able to find this in my likes, but I do have a little bit of it up. So, what they did was they issued an apology for their racist coverage about the internment camps of the Japanese during World War II. And I don't recall having seen too many mainstream outlets ever. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I can't recall this happening where a mainstream outlet apologized for the racist coverage that it has had historically offered to non-white communities. And I'm sure, I hope that I'm pretty positive. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm very positive that I'm sure the Oregonian has provided a lot of anti-black racist coverage in their day. But they made this acknowledgement about Japanese Americans in particular. So let me read this thread to you guys. So it says, while examining the Oregonian's history of racism, we found several editorials that supported the World War II incarceration of people of Japanese descent and the news coverage that denigrated those targeted. In 1942, Ted Nakashima, who was a second generation Japanese American, penned a searing view from inside of the Puyallup Fairgrounds. Help me, guys. Help me, my Oregonian people. Puyallup is what I would say. Puyallup. At those fairgrounds near Tacoma. Oh, so maybe this is a Washington. Okay. Well, but the Oregonian, but yes. It was one of the prison camps collectively housed 120,000 people of Japanese descent during World War II. The majority of those in prison were U.S. citizens. And it said that Ted Nakashima's piece was published in the New Republic and reported, quote, dirty, unwiped dishes, greasy silver, a starchy diet, no butter, no milk, bawling kids, mud, wet mud that stinks when it dries, no vegetables. A sad thing for people who raise them in such abundance. And it said not even a month later, the Oregonian wrote a racist rebuttal. The paper was an ardent supporter of the mass incarceration. The full page rebuke brushed off Nakashima without doing a basic reporting task, visiting the Washington prison camp about which Nakashima had written. The story that describes the Portland prison camp as, quote, comfortable and a, quote, temporary refuge, ignoring that the residents had been ripped away from their lives. The story attempted to disprove Nakashima's personal experience was characteristic of the of the Oregonians' racist coverage of imprisonment during World War II. News articles and editorials relied on euphemisms, slurs, stereotypes, and labels. Quote, it was not right to use the press for that kind of purpose, said Vicky Nakashima, who was the daughter of Ted Nakashima. I knew my father didn't lie. We reached out to our people who were there personally. We reached out to people who were personally affected by the imprisonment of their loved ones and the newspaper's racist narratives to hear their stories. And it goes on to include them in a project that they have that is actually on the OregonLive.com website. They are doing this as part of a project called Publishing Prejudice, the Oregonians' Racist Legacy. and wait. I am so excited to see this. I cannot wait until they get to the black people's part. When y'all get to the black people's part, because we know what Oregon was founded on as a whites only state, a white enclave. And I'm sure stories about lynchings and racism and discrimination were summarily either not reported upon at all by the Oregonian, or were portrayed in a way that was very slanted against the black folks. But do y'all? Let me look in the chat here. Do y'all know? Do y'all know this? I mean, not obviously. We can deduce, because we have thinking brains, that newspapers of record, the newspaper of note, I mean, this is all of them, right? The Baltimore Sun, New York Times, Chicago Sun Times, pick one, name one. All of them racist as fuck. All of them propaganda outlets. All of them militaristic outlets to paint American military hegemony in the way that it wanted to, in a way that was favorable towards the state, right? But I was actually, I mean, I was kind of impressed with this, because that's a bit of an awareness. That's a bit of an acknowledgement that the way that you cover an issue that affected an entire community of people not only affected the way those people were perceived, probably contributed to the treatment that they received, but also overall affected the overall dehumanization of these folks, right? And to paint them as liars, to say that the man, Ted Nakashima, was telling a tale, right? Doesn't make any sense to me at all. It makes plenty of sense, but it's interesting to contrast what the Oregonian is doing, trying to reconcile their racist past, and dare I say, I don't know what the prison is looking like, but at least they're trying to reconcile the racist past, versus that fucking babe in the woods routine that Chuck Todd just tried to give us from Meet the Press. Oh yeah, we have check, we have rules. Nigga, you got no fucking rules. You don't have no goddamn rules. Your rules is to make sure that capitalism keeps capitalisming, and America police and military endeavors keep on endeavoring. I don't want to hear that shit. So I want to give a big up to the Oregonian, because the only way that we can work past racism, and I don't know if we can ever work past it, is probably going to take at least another 10 lifetimes. I would imagine your great grandchildren maybe might not be experiencing racism here in the United States. Who can really say, though? Um, but to at least say that, hey, this is what we did. This is how we're trying to acknowledge it. And this is I hope that we can do better. Is that is a stance and a position that I would love to see from way more media outlets, that especially in their town or even nationwide, where they are considered the outlet of note, right? CNN, the New York Times, I'm thinking of the Baltimore Sun, the Washington Post, like all of them. Pick one. I would love to see that sort of self-awareness and attempt at accountability and reconciliation. I don't even know if it's reconciliatory per se, but to at least say that we did the thing is better than a lot of these other outlets out here. So there's that. Let me take a quick pause. If you haven't liked the video already, please come in and give us a like, give us a thumbs up. We certainly appreciate it. If you don't mind, you can follow us places around the internet at Burn It Down. I don't know, where the fuck are we on the internet? At BIDWKB, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch. We're over there. If you want to support the channel, you can become a member. We have lovely affordable tiers at $1.99. You become a member here on YouTube. You can also support us on Patreon, also at the low $2 a month, patreon.com/BIDWKB. Or you can run us some bucks, or you can run us some actual bucks. $ BIDWKB, Cash App at BIDWKB, Venmo, PayPal.me/BIDWKB. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that has supported this channel in every way. Honestly, what's up, 40J Blaze? I see you in here. I appreciate y'all, man. Like, I really, really do. Those that show up week in and week out, your support means the world. Everybody that also spends time over on Black Power Media, and for those who come over to kick it in the Status Coup chat. What do y'all think about the Status Coup chat? Are they cool? Because sometimes I don't watch it. I don't read it because I just don't. I just don't. When I'm not at home, I don't want to see what I don't want to see what company talking about. I don't want to see what the company is talking about, right? And I guess in that case, I am the company, so I don't want to see. I don't know, because y'all know I have a tendency to assume the worst. So anyway, y'all let me know if the folks them is cool. They seem cool. I haven't seen no one has told me any overt higgy haga. Ooh, somebody became a member. Is that Rielen? Thank you, baby. Woo! Thank you so much for becoming a member. That is so awesome of you. And correct me if I'm mispronouncing your name, darling. You've been here a while, and I've probably been mispronouncing your name the whole time. It's not intentional. It's because I don't know no goddamn better. So anyway, what's up, Pookie Wood? Is that Pookie Wood? Ah, it's Pookie Wood. So good to see Pookie Wood out here. Okay. Let me move the fuck along. So, okay, so let's circle back to the political violence, right? Everybody's so mad. Not everybody, but I listen. Let me say, I knew it was exactly who it was, man. That had middle-aged, frustrated, divorced white man written all over it. Written all over it. QAnon, all that shit. And then when I heard the reports about Brian DePep, 42 years old, out of the right was trying to say that he was from Berkeley, but he was living somewhere else though. Anyway, I didn't even fucking matter where the fuck he was. But according to his social media post, apparently he used to be quote unquote far left, or anti-war at some point in his online uh scribes, right? And in his online postings, he had at some point been quote unquote far left and anti-war, I believe. But it's always very interesting to me how easily some white folks can go very easily from being far left to far right. Like it seems like I feel like, do you guys remember the game Candyland, right? So Candyland, you had to go, follow the path. Oh, no. Better than Candyland. Fuck Candyland. Chutes and ladders. Chutes and ladders. Y'all have to be 65 years old like me to remember Chutes and ladders. No, Chutes and ladders was wild. So you had to follow the joint Chutes and ladders, but you could hit one spot and all of a sudden slide way down, right? And I feel like for some folks, some folks who claim to have, far left politics here and there, or be far left politically on a couple of issues, man, they hit that one spot and all of a sudden they done slid into MAGA territory. It's always never surprising, but always funny how that can work sometimes. So Brian DePep said he was gonna bust Nancy's kneecaps. Jesus Christ. I mean, now you know old people done fucked up when the people want to still commit the violence against old people, but some of them, shit, ain't earned that shit. Strom Thurmond probably needed his kneecaps bust if we keep it in a buck. So anyway, back to the political violence. Let me get myself situated. Yeah. So we did all that. No. Okay, so I wanted to get about these recent convictions. Who tagged me on this? Was this, pardon me, infinite content? The spate of people being released from prison after doing decades in jail is a mad fucking thing. It is so boggling to think that people in America can cry over the so-called loss of democracy. We're losing our democracy. When this is a battle for democracy. Democracy for whom? Because I can assure you, people of African origin have never experienced this democracy that you're sobbing over. Okay. And let this be proof positive in just one recent example of a man who was freed from jail after having served over 30 years. Was he in jail 30 or 40 years? Let's look at the piece. This is from KCAL 9. And again, I want you to look at this from a media critique lens, okay? So the way that this is framed, you're going to hear about how the exonerated person is now, he's free. Oh, he's standing on stage. Oh, he's out and about. Oh, he gets to experience all these things. And after being wrongly incarcerated for 65 fucking years, Mr. So and so now gets to go and have a beer. But you know whose names I never hear? You know whose names I never hear in these feel good stories? I never hear the names of the motherfuckers who put this person, this innocent person, in jail, who robbed this innocent person of a third, a quarter of their life. Never hear those names. But anyway, just note that as we watch this piece from KCAL 9. Take a look.
Stands next to the flag of the state that wrongly convicted him of murder.
Mr. Hastings is now finally able to clear his name and walk free.
Maurice Hastings is now 69 years old and finally a free man.
Conviction and sentence are recalled.
Nearly 4 decades spent in prison, the weight of this moment as he's granted freedom 1 week ago setting in. On this day, Mr. Hastings quietly speaks of its meaning.
I'm just moving forward. No bitterness, no anger, no finger pointing.
It's taken years to get here.
We have corrected a grave injustice.
20 years requesting his DNA be tested until it was recently. The death penalty sought in the case not once but twice. A jury sentenced Hastings to life in prison for the 1983 abduction and killing of an Inglewood woman and the attempted murder of her husband and friend.
We no longer have any confidence in the veracity of the case against Mr. Hastings.
I prayed many years that this day would come to pass.
Even though his mother couldn't see it. She died in June knowing her son was labeled a convicted killer.
But I believe she's looking down on us now.
So if Maurice Hastings did not commit the crime, who did? Prosecutors say the DNA matched that of a convicted sex offender who died in prison in 2020. Mr. Hastings tasted freedom in the moments after his release.
And we had lobster and we went to, and all of that. All of that was good. I haven't had that in quite a long time.
A cautionary tale, say prosecutors, of the risk of the death penalty and the people that corrected it.
I just want to enjoy my life while I have it, and I just want to move forward.
Setting free a man who otherwise would have died in prison.
They say that he would have died in prison as if there was, we don't know how he ended up in prison. But if we hadn't acted, he would have died in prison. A cautionary tale indeed about the death penalty and why the death penalty should absolutely be abolished from the state perspective. The state should not be killing people because the state wields a lot of biases and will intentionally imprison and execute people that they know to be innocent, right? And Mr. Hastings, God bless him. I can only imagine after spending 30 plus years, 35 plus years incarcerated for something that you didn't do. I would imagine there is a certain level of zen and acceptance and acquiescing to the will of the creator, to the universe, to karma, whatever. What could he physically do to get himself out? Well, it sounded like he was advocating for himself the entire time. 20 years. Can you fucking I need you guys to just deep that for a moment. For 20 years, he asked for DNA to be tested, and the state of California refused to test the DNA for 20 fucking years. So instead of doing 35 years in prison, he could have done 15. If the state was interested in actually pursuing justice, if they were actually interested in making sure that they had the guilty party. And I'd be curious as to who were the detectives and the prosecutors who put Mr. Hastings in jail, because I'm certain he was not the only innocent person put in jail. Lust of all, the probably not the only innocent Black person that they put in jail. Because this is what the system does. This is democracy, right? This is democracy. This is the democracy that the liberals want to uphold. And I say, a pox upon that, fire upon that, burn all of that down, please. Burn all of it down. Because if we enable a system that would take at one innocent person and take 35 years of their life and then go, oops, my bad. That's not a system worth upholding. But chances are, and we know that there are thousands of people that are wrongfully convicted right now for shit that they didn't do. And on top of that, not even to mention the folks that are convicted right now for shit they shouldn't be in there for, i.e. marijuana possession and or drug possession, right? People should not be in jail for that. So, but we talk about political violence. I don't see how much more violent, absent death, which, by the way, the state of California was trying to do. He was on death row. But we talk about political violence. That's the kind of political violence that I want to address, okay? The political violence that has been unleashed for generations against the poor, against Black folks, against indigenous folks, against our Latinos out here, against non-white folks, against gay folks, trans folks. Like, this is the kind of political violence that I want to attack, okay? And I can't get worked up about Paul Pelosi getting bust upside the head with a hammer when Ron DeSantis is stripping away people's voting rights, stripping away children's ability to receive gender affirming health care, stripping away pregnant people's ability to obtain abortion services. Like, that's political violence. Like, and the emphasis on no, but we can't have this kind of political violence against these people in these positions. The fuck? I'm not saying I agree with it, but I understand. I don't agree with Brian DePepe, I'm sure, on anything. But just like January 6th, hey, sometimes all heroes don't wear capes. Okay? Sometimes all heroes don't wear capes. Like, there are some people who do things that I find them to be repugnant as individuals, but they might do a thing, and I'm like, you know what? That wasn't too bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure everybody that was at January 6th, whole piece of shit, right? But the energy, the energy in the Capitol building that day, I said, you know what? A broken clock is right twice a day. On some aspects of this, I can relate. We may not be in agreement at all about the reasons y'all are in there, but I like the fact that y'all is in there. That one video. Oh man, I'm still mad at this brother. The brother who was the Capitol Police cop who was doing his job, unlike the rest of them fucking. I don't know what the rest of them was doing anyway. But the brother who directed the mob away from Mitt Romney, I said, sir, we could have had a reckoning right there. Woo shit. Anyway, I was hoping they was jumping on mittens that day. I did hope for that, and I do not apologize for that, because at the end of the day, it wasn't my people out there. It was them other people out there tearing shit up. But I digress. Hold on, I'm getting way off topic here. So again, that's the kind of political violence that Black people have been enduring, okay, forever and a day. And I also wanted to take a moment here to acknowledge the brothers, the two men who were falsely convicted of assassinating Malcolm X. We know that they were exonerated, and now they have collected, or at least the one of them who is still alive, the other who has passed on. They have won, I think, $26 million. The city of New York. Let me get this right, because the New York Times was being a ho and put that joint behind a paywall, but I screenshotted it because I would not be felled by bitch niggas. It says New York City has agreed to pay $26 million to settle lawsuits filed on behalf of two men whose convictions in the 1960s for the 1965 assassination of Malcolm X were thrown out last year after a judge found, quote, serious miscarriages of justice, according to the city and federal court records. The two men, Mohammed A. Aziz and Khalil Islam, each spent more than 20 years in prison after their hasty arrests and a trial that relied on questionable evidence in one of the most notorious murders of the civil rights era. So let's not call it a murder, because Malcolm was assassinated. Malcolm was targeted. Y'all can go to BPM for the whole. Y'all can go revisit the Black Power Media videos when it talks about Malcolm's assassination. I am not going there, but we know Malcolm was targeted by the police, by the FBI, and perhaps by others. Okay, their exonerations last November, Mr. Islam's was posthumous, came as allegations of racism and discrimination in the criminal justice system were again prompting nationwide protest and political debate. Now, this is why the New York Times, let me quote Kalechi and every Jamaican here for a second. New York Times can go suck their mother. Okay. What the fuck do you mean? The exoneration of these two men last year came as allegations of racism and discrimination in the criminal justice system. You see what I'm talking about? The mainstream papers and the outlets of note. It's not alleged that the criminal justice system is racist, you fucking assholes. It is documented, it is proven, it continues to be proven. Modern data and fucking statistics continue to bear this out in 2022. This is not the racism and the racial discrimination of the criminal justice system of 1965. I would argue they're still very much the same shit, maybe worse, depending on your perspective. So anyway, I want to say I'm glad. But again, I'm glad that Mr. Islam and Mr. Aziz are receiving money. Well, the estate of Mr. Islam and Mr. Aziz are receiving this money from New York City, $26 million. It does not even begin to cover the fact that these men lost 20 years of their life, more than, behind some shit that they did not do. And again, the political violence that Black people have been forced to endure here, and we're not allowed to be upset about it. We can't go out and riot. We can't go burn stuff down because that's not the right way. Well, what is the right fucking way? Should we bust into people's houses and and beat their spouses about the head with hammers? Is that the right way? No. Before we get out of here, the one last thing I wanted to do, I wanted to acknowledge the tragic and horrific killing of rapper Takeoff, one of the members of Migos. Now, I have to say, I am not familiar with Migos music, but what I did was I looked on social media and I saw the response from the fans, okay? And without a doubt, this group has made an impact on 21st century rap music. They created a style, a delivery style of their own. And from what I understand, Takeoff was very instrumental in convincing Quavo, his uncle, to even begin to start rapping. And they have been tremendously successful. So last night, Halloween night, allegedly Takeoff was there with Quavo, and they were in a bowling alley in Houston, and shots were fired. And beyond that, I don't really know what the details are, beyond that this 28-year-old person lost their life. And to me, I mean, we can look at it from, we could talk about this from a rap music lens, because without a doubt, out of the popular genres of music, it does seem as though the rappers are taking the L's. Like it's only rappers out here getting killed by and large. And that has been something that has been pervasive since I was a child or a young person, tragically. And I hate that. I hate that for the young people. And I hate that for me. I hate that for us. That we have seen so many of our talents, moreover them, they have been young men, young Black men, be taken out of here by gun violence far too soon. But it really got me thinking, and I'm like, what in the world? Like, from what I understand, like, Takeoff was the chill one, right? Like, he was the laid back one. He was, he was happy to have his money, and from what I understand, maybe not do a whole lot of flash, this, that, and the third. And so why is he dead? Why is he dead? He's dead because we have a problem. We have an epidemic in our society where we have young men who are not able, or not even young, men who are not able to express their feelings and to express their emotions in a healthy way. So if a man feels slighted, or if he feels rejected, or if he feels frustrated, if he's feeling envy, if he's feeling jealousy, if he's feeling, speculating here, if he's feeling inadequate because he's at the dice game and he just lost his rent money when he was in there trying to play big man, and he just pulls out a gun and starts shooting. And that is what happens in this country every single day. It's unfortunate that it happens to anybody. But I think, again, when there are situations that occur in the realm of celebrity, I think it opens up an opportunity to have a broader conversation, because I think more people feel as though they can possibly relate to that person. You know what I mean? But we're not, this does not happen in the reverse, okay? Meaning, I know women are capable of violence. I know women are capable of being abusive. I know women are capable of murder. I know women are capable of being very toxic. But I don't hear about women just letting off in crowded spots on the regs. Men do this on the regs, y'all. And there is a disconnect in the ways that we interpret male being or emotional, right? Because emotional is labeled, oh, that's feminine. That's females get emotional. No, nigga, you get fucking emotional, dog. Like, you get emotional. If you get rejected, if a chick doesn't give you her number, or if you see a nigga shining more than you and you start to get in your feelings, nah, man, fuck that nigga, blah, blah, blah. Nigga ain't better than me. Nigga, that's emotions. Okay, that's fucking emotions. And there's something wrong with there is a disconnect between feeling those emotions and being able to process them in a healthy way. And a lot of our men folk are just, they lack that ability. And I understand there's a lot of it. We can very definitely say that a lot of this shit is systemic. We can say that men are conditioned not to express their emotions in a healthy way. And all of that is valid and true. But at the same time, the bodies keep piling up, man. It's like, so uh again, my simple ass would be like, okay, well, it's time to shake the shit out these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Wake them up. Make them understand that you cannot be out here literally ending people's entire lives, ending their bloodlines, because you lost a few dollars in a dice game, or the nigga had on better shoes than you, or you, because the girl chose him. Like, I need this to stop it. I need us to cut it out. And please grab the boys young. Give them the space to cry without ridiculing them about them showing quote unquote female tendencies or female emotions. Give them the space to cry. Give them the space to be sad. Give them the space to be able to articulate these things. Ask them, when you see homie over there hugged up with the girl that you like, how does that make you feel? Do you feel rejected by that? Do you feel embarrassed by that? Like, talk these things out. Like, I don't know how to reach the men that are already at their big age. And again, I hate to even say the disclaimer, because y'all, my brubs know, but I'm not talking about all men. I'm talking about fucking abusive, murderous, terrible people. That is not all men. Even though some people think I'm a fucking misandrist, but that just tells me that motherfuckers are conditioned not to listen to women. So clearly, the shit that I say in support of men, and men who find themselves, or rather who are the victims of some of the systemic bullshit that we have here, that just tells me that, you don't hear me when I say any of that shit. All you hear is the shit that, when you think I'm dunking on men ain't trash, that's the only shit you hear. But anyway, that's a tangent. But anyway, it's so important. We got to reach these boys, okay? I would love for the men at the big ages to be able to be reached. I don't know if we can reach them, but we can reach these boys. We can reach these boys, and I need you all to try. If you're parents, if you have young men, young boys in your life, create a space for them so that they can actually talk, right? So they can express themselves. Because when they get up and they get grown and they get their hands on a gun, not all of them, obviously, but enough that because gun violence is a horrific problem in this country. So we are talking about a significant number of folks, right? And the overwhelming number, unfortunately, men themselves are both the perpetrators of gun violence and overwhelming the victims of gun violence. So it is incumbent upon men, again, I love to put the pressure on y'all because y'all got some work to do here. Y'all have to tear down the patriarchy because the patriarchy is killing the shit out of you. The patriarchy is killing the shit out of you. You know, we already know violence against women, well documented. We know my stand on violence against women right here on this channel. No, let's talk about the violence against men. Who is the overwhelming perpetrators of that? It is other men, y'all. It is other men. So in order for everybody to survive, I suppose, the patriarchy has to come down. This notion of maleness and femaleness. This is why I really appreciate the attempted dismantling of the concepts of gender right now in the 21st century, because what motherfuckers perceive to be male and female is literally killing people out here. It is killing people because these men are so paranoid. Some of these men are so paranoid of having any sort of female traits that makes them less, that makes them a bitch, that makes them a pussy nigga, that makes them all these things. And with the worst thing they could be is a woman. The worst thing you could be called as a man is a female. We have to erase that shit, y'all, because it's not just killing women, definitely killing women, but it's definitely killing men too. They don't know how to process feelings of rejection, inadequacy, and it's a mad thing. It's a mad thing. So I wanted to acknowledge the passing of Takeoff. This is some bullshit. I'm so deeply apologetic to his family, to those who loved him. I hate that he is gone in this way. He doesn't deserve it. And to all of his fans, you know what I'm saying? Like to his fans, I see what the music meant. I see what his innovative rap style meant to the fans of Migos. So I want to send my condolences going out to the family and to the friends and to the fans of Takeoff. May he rest in peace. All right, guys. I don't even know. Are y'all happy with me or are y'all not happy with me right now? I can't tell. But I will figure it out later. Hey, tomorrow morning, Remix Morning Show. I will not be there. But my comrades will be there. So please tune in to the Remix Morning Show, Black Power Media, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Big up to the ear doctor. What up, Kalanji, Kamal, Jarrah, Jackie Lukman. Oh, Sis Erica. I don't know if Sis Erica's in here, but shout out to Sis Erica. I think Sis Erica's around the way. I'm gonna have to see if I can find Sis Erica. But I will be on Status Coup tomorrow, 5 p.m. Come check me out. And I will be returning to the Remix Morning Show Thursday morning. So please come do the thing. I have to say, I appreciate you all so much. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much. Oh, big up to Anna Hart and Lorraine for the disability support chat over the weekend. I hope that went well. The next one is going to be the second Monday in November. What is the date of that? Is Anna in here? Because I don't know what the day is. I don't even know what fucking month it is. Let's see. I guess that would be the 14th of November will be the next disability fire fam support chat because we do the things. And fuck, I meant to ask Molly for the abortion support fund thing this month. I forgot. so we'll get that up for y'all on Friday. So anyway, I think that's everybody. Big up to my mods, Courtney and Latif. You guys are the greatest. Shout out to Nat A. What up, Big Teal? What up, Anna Hart? What up, Afra? Come through with Lady 747. What's up, Alice? Who else is in here? Spin Cycle Dragon. Love y'all to pieces. Y'all are the fucking best. Hope y'all wasn't roasting me too much in the chat, but that's okay because I'll find out after the fact. On behalf of Molly and Will, we will see you guys back here on Friday. Please don't forget, as I said at the top of the show, COVID is still out here, definitely, absolutely, totally jumping on people. Please don't be out here like a fucking dickhead, man. Wash your hands, social distance, wear your mask when you're in an indoor space in public. All right, that's it. That's the tweet. That's the post. Love you guys. See y'all later. Bye bye.